recently?
Hello, you absolute.
Yeah, he did. I watched this one.
Hello, you absolute legends.
Well, I haven't
We
seen
have
this one yet,
officially
so.
done it. After 4.5 billion years of evolution, life as we know it has reached its peak. We may as well pack it up because it's all downhill from here. On the 8th of May 2022, the speedrunner Bubsia sat in front of his TV, loaded up Super Mario 64, and proceeded to collect all 120 stars and beat the game. This doesn't sound crazy until you realize that he was blindfolded the entire time.
That's fucking
I've
nuts.
seen a lot of crazy gaming feats in my time, but this is definitely one of the most intense that's ever happened. I simply have no idea how this is supposed to be possible. Beating games blindfolded isn't a new concept, people have been doing it for at least a decade, but as with all of these niche hobbies that orbit the speedrunning community, things have gotten out of hand. I mean, Super Mario 64 is a complex game. It's a 3D platformer with a lot of moving parts. There are a ton of places where you can fall to your death, or enemies you need to defeat. Getting to the end of the game under any circumstances already seems extreme.
To my understanding, he's not the only person who does this, though. There's like 3 people that do it, to my understanding, right? And the other 2 are like Asian. There's 2. They're not NA. I mean, I don't know if this guy's NA or EU. But there's 3 people, and I'm pretty sure the other 2 are Asian who do this, and they all do it. Do the same thing. You're blocking the god. Here, I'm over here now. Boom. Wait. Boom. I'm over here now.
Extremely unlikely, but to get every single star, even the stars that require you to get 100 coins on every level, and beat the game, and to do it all in one go, just flat out seems
Yeah, sorry, TTS
impossible.
doesn't work sometimes.
And yet, last month, it was done. The feat took 11.5 hours, with
God
0
damn.
breaks. Bubsia didn't remove his blindfold at any time or even get up out of his chair. It was 11 hours of straight gameplay.
That's inspirational,
Not only
to be
is
honest.
this possibly the greatest blindfold achievement of all time, but it's up there with one of the greatest gaming achievements ever in general. This isn't just about skill, it's about incredible preparation, amazing strategic ideas, and the courage to entertain and investigate a seemingly preposterous goal. In this video, we will take a quick look at Bubsia's blindfolded 120 star
Carl's
run
wrong?
and to
What do you
learn why
mean?
this particular speedrun is one of the most challenging ever performed. I really hope you enjoy.
How so?
Now, legends, before
He got up off his chair the stretch. Well, it's not like he stopped. He
go
stopped
on,
like
I had
the
to
run
show you
now,
that
right?
9% do it, you know, from safe and easy. Waterproof, getting the just think about sting hand off.
I don't think
If
he
you were
like.
to sit me down in front of a Nintendo 64 and force me to try and figure out how to collect every star in the game and beat the game without looking, I would have absolutely no idea where to begin. At first glance, it seems impossible, and it's honestly shocking that anyone considered the possibility in the first place in order to even try
Yeah, it's
it.
actually
But as is the
ridiculous.
case with a lot of these crazy gaming feats, it started out with relatively humble beginnings and grew from there.
My
I'm sure
God.
it's not always the case, but generally players won't dive headfirst into a new game trying to beat the entire thing blindfolded. What usually happens is that they will start small and try to beat a particular
Is this blindfolded right now? Because he's playing better than a lot of like speedrunners here. That's insane. And wanna know what's also insane to me about like this whole thing? If this was fake, no, this one, I know the one, this wasn't the fake one. This isn't the fake one. The dude who was doing it fake was another dude. I don't think this one was fake. But like the thing that's crazy to me is you can have like all these run memorized, right? But if you fuck up just like once, that muscle memory and where you are is ruined. You wouldn't know where the fuck you are. So did he just not fuck up for literally 11 hours? You know what I mean? Like, because you would have to memorize everything. Like, how would you, if you miss a jump, how would you know that you missed that jump? Or I guess you would hear it, right? You would hear like a noise or something. I don't know. That seems crazy to me. Would you have to just kill yourself if you know you fuck up so you can restart essentially?
section.
I guess he's probably going to go over
This is
all
exactly
that.
what happened with Super Mario 64. The speedrunner Bubsia was inspired by some other blindfolded achievements, like those in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and
The good thing about blindfold Super Mario 64 is that every time, and every star you start from the same exact spot. Okay, yeah, it's consistent. That's what I'm talking about. But man, like I just feel like if you fuck up, there's no real way for you to know you fucked up. That's the scariest part for me. You could mess up a jump and you're just like doing what you think is putting you somewhere and you're not there at all.
Decided to see if he could at the very least collect a single star blindfolded. And in July of 2017, that's exactly what he did. So from here, he simply figured out a few more stars until he had reached a total of 16.
Sound cues,
This is an
yeah.
important number because 16 stars is generally considered the easiest way to beat the game. Technically, you can beat the game with 0 or 1 stars, but it ends up being harder because the glitch required to do so is extremely precise. The glitches needed for a 16-star run, however, are pretty easy. After several months of work in October of 2017, Bubsy became the first person to beat Super Mario 64 blindfolded. This 16-star run took 3.5 hours, and surprisingly, it didn't get a whole lot of attention online. I would have assumed, given the nature of the game, that it would have been huge news, but no one really talked about it, and this first run still has only 600 views.
That's pretty nuts.
Over the next year, Bubsy would optimize his strategies in order to complete the
I think you could complain about Carl saying extremely precise. Well, yeah, I mean, looking at this, like, to me, like, okay, I've tried to do some gaming. Like, I've tried to play this game a little bit, and I am dog shit at this game. But I'll watch, like, Clint Stevens, and I'll be like, oh my god, I really want to do this. And then, like, I actually play, and I'm like, holy fuck, I am terrible. I don't think I've ever beaten fucking Mario 64.
game.
But like fucking around on like Womps is like really fun. Like trying to do all this stuff in Womps. Womps is the first map, right? Speedrunning Doobie Sleeper though. You play racing games. Shut up, you play racing games. It's pretty fun. I think it's fun, especially in this game. But I'm really bad at it. So seeing shit like this is like inspirational shit. I'll still probably keep playing shooters though, because those are games I'm naturally good at.
And by September of 2018, he managed to complete the game in less than 1 hour. Being able to get to the end in a relatively short amount of time is good for numerous reasons. Obviously, going faster is one of the goals of speedrunning in general, but it also opens the door for bigger challenges. If a 16-star run takes 3.5 hours, then maybe beating the game with 70 stars might take too long and it might not be feasible at all. But by late 2018, a lot of work had been done to optimize strategies, so a run of 70 stars did ultimately become possible. While Bubsy was busy working on lowering the 16-star world record, the madman Katoon was figuring out how to collect even more stars. And on the 24th of September 2018, Katoon would be the first to beat Super Mario 64 with 70 stars blindfolded. This run would take 8.5 hours, which was really impressive at the time, as Katoon's estimate was 14 hours. Still, 8 hours is a beast of a run, and is certainly not short by any stretch of the imagination. Thankfully, the strategies Katoon initially used were far from ideal, and over the next year, he would successfully lower the 70-star run down to something a lot more tolerable, achieving a time of 2 hours and 18 minutes.
Wait, he just took it off. Wait, he said it was an 8-hour run. Oh, wait, this was 70-star. Yeah, this must be something else. This must be something else then. I was about to say, this motherfucker took it off. He's cheating!
In September of 2019. In late 2019, blindfolded Super Mario 64 would also see the appearance of a Japanese runner known as Nobori. Nobori focused extensively on taking the 16-star and 70-star runs down to, quite frankly, unbelievable times. He painstakingly re-examined the strategies for every star and crafted his own unique style of play, which was dramatically faster than anyone had seen. By February of 2021, Nobori had lowered the 16-star blindfolded record down to 23 minutes, and the 70-star record down to an astonishing 1 hour and 26 minutes. I really suggest watching these runs because they are absolutely incredible. Given that the 70-star record was now sitting below 1.5 hours, you would be forgiven for thinking that a run of 120 stars would be well within reach. But you would be mistaken. It was at this point that the Super Mario 64 blindfolded players would encounter a
Yeah, that is a
problem.
towel. Motherfucker couldn't afford a... Dude, all these people who speedrun, dude, I feel bad. Because they're like, there's like the popular speedrunners, right? And then there's like these dudes who work like wage cut jobs probably and have like no money. So the motherfucker can't even afford what are these? I don't even know what these things are called. What are these things called? I have no idea. But the things you use to sleep, they can't even afford these, so they have to use a fucking towel. Holy.
Navigate the environment without the ability to see. Super Mario 64 players use a
blindfold?
variety
Yes,
of
there you
techniques
go.
to ensure their movement is accurate and reproducible. Certain actions will move Mario forwards and backwards the exact same distance every time. For example, a punch will inch Mario forwards, and a backflip will move Mario backwards. Directional movement with the Nintendo 64 controller can also be very consistent because of the notches around the control stick. Players can also use sound cues to figure out exactly where they are, like listening for when Mario is rubbing up against a wall. Even the music can be very helpful.
Dude, listen, he didn't say blindfolded. The video is called "This Gamer Just Did the Impossible in Super Mario 64." Not "This Gamer Beat Super Mario 64 with a blindfold." Dummy. I can read. I know what the video is about.
It can allow you to move in a certain direction for the same amount of time if you are really good at counting the beat. In practice, moving the same distance and direction each time can usually be pretty easy. In fact, players were getting so consistent that they can basically do it on command. In December of 2021, Bubsia beat the game with 70 stars live during a marathon in 1 hour and 55 minutes. Naturally, with the 70 star now reasonably low, the question became, could players go the entire distance? Could it be possible to collect every star in the game? In January of 2021, Katoon set out to answer that question, and over the next couple of months, he would systematically go through each of the remaining stars to see if they were possible to do blindfolded. By late March, he had successfully figured out how to collect 48 of the remaining 50. This brought the theoretical total collectible stars to 118, just 2 shy of the 120. But it was here that Katoon ultimately ended his journey, as he couldn't figure out how to collect the final 2. The 2 remaining stars were the 100 coin stars on the levels Lethal Lava Land and Dire Dire Docks, and it's these 2 levels that perfectly illustrate the difference between 70 star and 120 star. With 70 stars, the biggest weapon you have in your arsenal is choice. You get to choose which stars you collect and which stars you skip, and it just so happens that there are 70 relatively easy stars to collect blindfolded. Beyond 70, stars get exponentially more difficult. A level like—
Oh, my nuggies are done. My nuggies are done. Give me a sec. Oh. In the next few weeks, month or two, I'm really looking to get more information to report about Twitter's, potential collusion or potential pressure that they faced from the federal government last year, as they were banning and banning other vaccine skeptics. So I hope they have more to say about that soon. Yeah, come on, I love it. So what we tell is that this seems like a huge shortage of birth rates declining internationally, especially places with a bad. Yes. Well, so we don't know. The short answer is we don't know. I'm actually much more you've seen that in countries that didn't have a lot of COVID as well as they did, and timing is very, very suspicious. We're afraid that this is really worth launching. Whether it's more than 50% in a number of major European countries year over year, and given how, given that fertility, although it's been going down, in many of these countries slowly over time, 10% is a huge move in 1 year. Now, at some point in the data, and it's also not so much that this is related to short-term fluctuations in menstruation and menstrual cycle, that we know the vaccines involved, and so that it won't be a long-term effect. Well, what we should do— Did you take a Pfizer vaccine? Yeah. Oh, well, you're not going to have kids. I think I'll be fine. My balls will be fine.
Like Womp's Fortress is easy to navigate, and you can take
Okay.
your time moving around. As long as you know
Already doxed.
the right
I see my
combination of
dad
inputs,
complaining.
it doesn't really matter if you do them slowly or quickly. As long
Where
as
I
you
wanna put
do them in the
this?
correct order, you'll be successful. There aren't too many enemies to avoid, and there are also plenty of opportunities to do a technique that blindfolded runners call normalization. Normalization is where a player can use the terrain to know exactly where they are. It could be as simple as just listening for when Mario is pushing up against a wall. A player could also slowly walk off a ledge and allow Mario to grab onto it. When Mario pulls himself back up, the player now knows exactly where they are standing and can proceed from there. Normalization
By the way, facing your screen into the door is such a noob move. Where else would I put it? I'm not gonna turn on my camera. The most you'll see is like my sister or some shit, or hear my dad like complaining.
is important because it allows you to break stars into smaller sections, so
This
you don't
shit's
need
so
to do
hot,
the
holy
entire
fuck.
thing perfectly. You just need to make it to the next checkpoint where you can normalize your position. On a level like Lethal Lava Land, normalization is often impossible. Most of the platforms are surrounded by lava, and there are no walls to run up against, or ledges to grab. While on other levels, if you accidentally run in a slightly wrong direction, you can usually use a ledge or wall to correct yourself. Here,
I
if
see.
you make a mistake, you'll run straight into lava, which basically always results in a game over. There are no tricks available here. If you want to get 100 coins on this level, you basically need to memorize and perfectly execute many inputs consecutively. The task seemed almost impossible, but in early 2021, the runner Bubsia took up the task and decided to see once and for all if a 120-star run was possible. And miraculously,
It's called a blindfold. It's called a fucking blindfold. That's what it's called. Holy shit, that's what it is. That's what he has on his head. It's a blindfold. That's what it is. I remember. I have one. I have one on my bed. I use it to sleep. I like his though. It's kind of cute. It's a fucking blindfold. Holy shit. All right, sorry. Holy fuck, dude. That's what it's called. I remember. Oh my god, dude, I had a brain blast. Fucking Eureka. Holy shit. I remember. I had to get some fucking brain food. Okay, sorry. Okay, we keep going now.
he cracked the code and did figure out a way to collect 100 coins on Lethal Lava Land.
called a sleeping
This
mask,
left
not
a
the
single
blindfold.
star, 100 coins in Dire Docks. This level poses another unique challenge. The first section is full of water, and a whirlpool in the center is constantly sucking Mario towards it. This makes reliable and consistent movement patterns impossible. We can no longer rely on simply pressing a button a certain amount of times in order to move a set distance, or just holding a particular direction. We are constantly in motion, being pulled towards the center. Therefore, the timing of every button press is critical as well. Truth be told, it wasn't a guarantee that collecting 100 coins on this stage was even possible. It's just that difficult. But once again, Bubsia geniusly figured out a way, taking advantage of slopes around the border of the level to normalize his position. Even still, each time he dives into the water, the level is working against him, and the timing of his inputs has to be incredibly precise. The level of planning and preparation that goes into finding these strategies is astounding. By the end of September 2021, Bubsia had collected every star in the game blindfolded.
nuts.
However, his
Actually
work
nuts.
was still not done. Just because you know how to collect every star, that doesn't mean you can do it in one go. There are still two major obstacles that stand in your way: consistency and time. Some stars are just so difficult that it doesn't matter if you know how to get them in theory or even in practice. For example, the star for collecting 8 red coins in the wing cap stage is crazy. Flying in Super Mario 64 is extremely precise, even when you can see, and in order to collect every red coin blindfolded, you need to execute many frame-perfect inputs back to back. Even for a player like Bubsia, who has practiced this star a lot, it can literally take hours of attempts to do a single time.
Holy.
Even if a star is easy, it might just take a long time to do. When Katoon initially went through and collected 118 stars, some of them took well over an hour. For example, the 100 coin star for Jolly Roger Bay took Katoon 1 hour and 50 minutes.
Wait,
taking this
that map is called, I thought that was Deep Dark Docks or whatever the fuck it's called. It's not Deep Dark Docks. Is it a It's something It's something Docks. I thought this map was something Docks. Isn't that what, it's not called Jolly Roger's Bay or whatever. What the fuck? Am I thinking of a different map? I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna embarrass myself. A single star would make a 120-star run impossible. It's for this reason that Bubsia had to reimagine almost every star. He had to somehow construct strategies that were both consistent and fast enough so that he could do everything in one go. And that's part of the magic of this run. Multiple things had to come together to make it possible. Bubsia began preparing for an attempt of a 120-star run in March of 2021. It would be a full year before he was ready. On March 19th, 2022, Bubsia would make his first attempt. His estimate for how long the run would take to complete was 15 hours. This is a very long time to be playing a game blindfolded. It's not the longest anyone has done it, but it's still an extremely long time. Blindfolded play is extremely mentally fatiguing, even more so than regular speedrunning. In my experience in speedrunning, after a certain amount of practice, you develop muscle memory and can essentially play on autopilot. This isn't the case with blindfolded running, however, and concentration is required at all times. Sucks. Players are constantly struggling to remember inputs, and because the gameplay is much slower than otherwise, it makes everything a lot more tedious. Over a long period of time, players become exhausted, similar to how a chess player might feel after a grueling match. And on this particular occasion, it was what timer in the middle? I thought the timer in the middle was an omega.
Several stars had taken far longer than anticipated. After 8.5 hours, Bubsia had only collected 69 stars and knew he wasn't going to make the distance. 2 weeks later, on the 3rd of April, he would try again. 9 hours into the run, after collecting 99 stars, disaster struck. He forgot the inputs for one of the stars on Tiny Huge Island.
What is this shit? Why is he... Oh my god, dude, please. Fucking hell, dude. So it's definitely not earlier, because there's apparently some fucking wall upright. I don't know what wall could be there upright. This doesn't make any sense to me, dude, but... apparently.
If this happens, what are you supposed to do? If you can't see and you don't know the exact sequence of buttons to press, it's impossible to continue. Being so deep into the run, this is emotionally devastating. After 40 minutes of agonizing effort, he finally remembered and successfully got the star. But by that point, the damage had already been done. He collected a few more stars, but his brain was no longer functioning as well as it needed to, and he had to stop. After 2 painful failures, Bubsia spent another month preparing for his next attempt, which would be on the 8th of May. This time, his play was much better, and it showed. Everything was done really well, and after 11 hours, he had 119 stars. He had left the hardest star for last, the wing cap stage 8 red coin star. Normally, this star would take at least an hour of attempts to complete, but this time, it was done in less than 20 minutes. Once 120 stars had been collected, there was just 2 more things to do. The first was confirm that he'd actually collected 120 stars. This is one of the less obvious challenges, which is keeping track of how many stars you have attained. In order to check, he enters a cannon at the front of the castle, which only opens when you have 120 stars.
We got 120! Let's go! We did it, dude! What the fuck?
Bro, that must have been wild.
Once confirmed, the final fight with Bowser is all that remained.
I want to see this. How does he know when he's like turned around? Oh, he's not gonna show it. I was about to say, like, how would he know, like, when he's turned around and like go around and then grab the tail?
Star, dude.
Bro, that's wild. Yeah, I'd fucking cry. I would literally cry.
Sub 12, dude.
It's like years of your life. You lost years of your life just for this fucking moment. Like, most people can't even, like, say they've done shit like that.
This is truly one of the most insane things ever done in video game
Like,
history.
so much
and
fucking
it blows
respect,
my mind
man.
what gamers these days are willing to do in order to achieve something that most people would consider impossible. If you want to learn a bit more about this run, I recommend watching 2 further videos. The first is a summary video made by Bubsia himself, where he talks about some critical moments in the run. And the second is a video by Ubisoft, which goes a bit more into depth on the techniques that were used. A huge congratulations to Bubsia on this historic run.
Oh, this guy's
and
so
I can't wait
cute.
to see what the blindfolded community does next. Thank you so much for watching, you legends. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.